we finally have a look at the new F1 24 game. We have a deeper look into this game, announced by EA on, what is that, Monday? We got loads to talk about with this new dynamic handling, and I have already talked about it with the beta. There was a lot to go over in that. If you want to see that video, it's on my YouTube, it's in the description. I'll leave a link to it. Anyway, EA have announced gameplay for this new game, and finally people who hadn't experienced the beta can finally see what this game is about, and not just through the leaks, which I feel sometimes misleading to what this game is and what they're trying to do with it. So they talk about the dynamic handling and how the car functions, and they talk a lot about how suspension works and how they've kind of taken a lot of feedback from like creators and what they think the game should feel like. And I think it's a really positive step. I feel like we could do so much more with these games. This is a really positive step. We've got a new suspension kinematic system that gives our cars much more realistic feeling of weight distribution and center of gravity. That's what EA have put here, and from what I can tell and through like the things you're seeing on the screen right now, these are big changes, because it changes how you will drive systematically, and everything matters. The way you drive, the way you push, the way your setup is, it really does matter, and how a lot of things are done. They said they've also improved the tyre model, which is really good to see. I think 23 was really good for the tyre model, but it's a lot more to how it should be now, so that things, depending on how you drive, it really will affect how the tyres like wear and how much temperature they get in, and what setup you have also does affect that quite a bit. They also talk about clean air and how important it is to, maybe stay out of the clean air, and dirty air can really, really harm you. Unlike what we saw in the previous games, where I feel like dirty air definitely was a thing, but it definitely was nowhere near what it actually does to an actual F1 car. Now, I brought this up in the beta video, and I don't think it was exactly prevalent in that beta we had a few weeks ago. But they talk about how when the track starts to dry, and you're in an inter tyre or a wet tyre, or at least you're going from wet to inter or inter to dry, you will see quite a significant... You'll see your tyres start to really heat up, because if you stick on that dry line, which there apparently is going to be, now I'm not 100% about this, I don't know if they've done this right, but according to them, as the track starts to dry out, the remaining wet patches on the track, so offline, will help you cool your wet or intermediate tyre, which is really realistic. That is how it should be. I can't wait to see that in action. Like the amount of cool things that could happen in races where someone might have to, on the inter, will have to dry on the wet line, which is so cool. I didn't really notice this when I played the beta. I don't know if it wasn't there, they didn't have it, but I didn't notice it. That's why at the time I didn't think it was there. But if this is going to be in the game, it's a really good change. Hopefully they just get it right and balance it really well, because we can't have it where doing it one way is better than the other. So yeah, that's really, really good to see. The computational fluid dynamics, the CFD, will bring intense aero simulation, which is really good to see. We haven't actually seen this before, where they kind of have completely changed it, but this is in relation to the dirty air and how that works, how you sit behind cars, but it also is how DRS works now, and DRS can change from car to car. So some cars will be better with their DRS, maybe like the Red Bull, and other cars will be worse with the DRS, maybe like let's say the McLaren or the Mercedes. They'll struggle more because their DRS is not as efficient. This is a really cool change, and I think that it will really add some variety into the races a bit more, because you'll see from track to track, you'll see a car perform different. And like we saw with what we were told this weekend with the Chinese Grand Prix, that the McLaren would suffer in the corners, in the slow speed corners, unlike high speed, even though they technically didn't, and they did quite well. That is kind of what the game is trying to do, where the McLaren might be good at one track but bad at another. That's what they're trying to do, and that's kind of how it is in real life, and that's a really good change. There's another thing that they did with the chassis and floor profiles, and they say they're more accurate than ever, and that it's really important that the ride height is fine-tuned to your specific driving style, because it can affect everything about the car and how much downforce you have. It's really important, and it's just like, this is so crazy, some of these changes. Now, I see what they're trying to do with this game. They're really trying to make it way more like flowing, and kind of, there's a lot more factors in the game now. Like, this is a really good change. We saw a lot of issues with the beta test, and I've gone into that, and how apparently there was an issue in that beta test, so I'm really hoping to see improvements with that. But I do understand what they're trying to do, and I think it's a good way. Moving on, though, we do have a bit more about the game with the telemetry. I'm not 100% sure how this will work. We have had telemetry in the game for a few years, but this is like a big change. You can see lots more telemetry now, and you could really incorporate that into your race. So if you had a race engineer, you could give them this telemetry. I think that's what they're trying to say. But that would be really crucial, because you can learn so much about the car, so much about what's going on, and that's really, really cool. Also, leagues and things like that, they can use your telemetry also to just make their graphics look better. It's really, really good to see. I really like the telemetry changes that they've had. They've also changed the ERS with this game. Many people think it's a missed feature that we haven't really had for a long time. I always thought they're keeping it realistic to how it is in real life. So I'm not 100% with the change where you can change your ERS all the time in any different mode. I also thought in the beta it was way too inconsistent, but I'm hoping that's something that will be changed. But I do really think they're trying with something new, and there was a lot with the ERS changes. There's a lot more you can do now, and I think they're just trying to open up loads of opportunities for races. But that is about it. That's all they really went into about it. There's a lot of gameplay. That's really good to see. Loads of gameplay changes with the car. I'm all for it. I think we do need more like this, more big things like this. I like them trying, at least. I feel like in the last few years we've struggled with that they haven't really put enough into most of the game. They've just put it into like really small things, and like Breaking Point and F1 Life and supercars. Like, no one really cares about that stuff, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't care about it. F1 Life was what was it called? Was it F1 Life in 22? That was the most idiotic thing they've added in a long time. It's F1 World now. I think F1 World last year was also just not needed. I feel like we should have put more into just like career modes and how online works. I really, really hope online is changed, but we have to see. On Friday, they have a career mode gameplay deep dive, which is really, really good. I will post on that as well. That looks really good. I can't wait to see the career mode. I might do a career mode on my channel when the game comes out. I'm not 100% sure with it yet, because I don't always play. I play career mode, but not all the time. I don't play it at the moment. To conclude all the points, really, I think this is a good stride, and we've really got something going here. And while I am still disappointed that we are not getting a new game engine, I think that we have got something to work with here, and I definitely think they will improve the handling. If we're just going to roll back to that, because it is a big thing and it is important, they will improve it, I hope. It was really rough in the beta test, but I believe in Cody's. Not so much EA, but I do believe in Cody's, and I know what they are. I know what they can cook up, so I really trust them with this. So maybe not 100% everything we wanted, but I think this is good compared to what we could have got. Like, things could have just been a dry game, you know, so that's really good. I'm really excited to see what's career mode. I really hope we get some things on multiplayer, but I don't think we will. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you have any comments about this, let me know. What's your thoughts? I thought it was pretty good. We'll get to see what's happening on Friday. Remember to leave a like, and yeah, thanks for watching.